Hello and welcome to the Daily Mail for Wednesday the 11th of March 2026. We start off today's video by mentioning that Phil Summerill has passed away. This is from millfc.co.uk, the club's official website. Millwall Football Club is saddened to hear of the passing of Phil Summerill at the age of 78. Phil was Gordon Jago's first permanent capture in the autumn of 1974 for a fee of £25,000 from Huddersfield Town. He came through the ranks of his hometown club Birmingham City, and Jago hoped Summerill's signing would increase his struggling Millwall's goal output. It appeared the threat of relegation was alleviated somewhat in January 1975 when Phil registered 5 goals in 2 home games. A brace in the 3-0 defeat of Notts County on a mud Buffer pitch was followed a week later by the demolition of Cardiff City, in which Phil scored an hat-trick in a 5-1 success. But they did get relegated. Following relegation, Phil was a member of the team that bounced back to regain Millwall's Division 2 status at their first attempt. At Birmingham, Phil, predominantly an outside left, was one of the Blues' suppliers of chances created for Bob Latchford, which contributed towards City pipping Millwall for a place in Division 1 in 1972. At the Den, he scored 26 goals in 103 appearances. Phil left the Lions in September 1977 for Wimbledon. He then wound down his career with various clubs including Tooting and Mitcham and a few more in his native West Midlands. Everyone at Millwall would like to offer their condolences to Phil's family and friends at this sad time. And moving on to southernnews.co.uk, Millwall head coach on team selection after deserved derby win. Difference from Hull City and Tristan Crammer message after defender passes key game 37. Alex Neil thought Millwall deserved their hard-fought 1-0 victory over Derby County at the Den. The Lions were on top of the clash against the 7th place Rams for the first 60 minutes, taking a well-deserved lead for Josh Coburn on the cusp of half-time. Derby boss John Eustace introduced Carlton Morris on the hour, which tilted the game in the Rams' favour, and they had several chances to snatch a late equaliser, with Morris heading just wide and Patrick Agyemang hitting the post. Alex Neil believes his side's effort across the 90 minutes meant they rightfully earned the 3 points. We deserved it over the game. We rode the luck at the end. They missed 1 or 2 opportunities, which we probably should have defended better, but I thought the game at that stage just lost its shape completely. There were a couple of transitions for us that we should have probably done better in terms of picking that final pass. Dan shot one over the bar, Femi's outside him. Young Tom, had 2 down the sides in terms of picking that next pass out. A couple of little bits like that, and I think if we did that a little bit cleaner, we could have probably got the goal to finish the game off, but we didn't, which means we need to defend that, and we got in there in the end. Millwall were without first-team regulars, including Casper de North, Aphrodite Caleb-Taylor and Ryan Leonard. The absences meant Tristan Crammer continued at centre-back, where he served in Taylor's absence, shifting over from right-back while Barry Bannon started in midfield, alongside Billy Mitchell and Danny McNamara at right-back. Alex Neil explained his thinking behind the team selection. There were a couple of things. I think that going into the game, there are very few teams that I thought about the size in terms of size of players, and that was in my mind before this game, because obviously we've lost Caleb, so we lost Ryan, Casper's out as well, and Alfie's out. So a couple of things were in my mind prior to the game, and in the fact that I felt we needed to be big, because I think if we weren't big, it was going to be a problem. And that was shown in the first half for me, because I thought Josh Coburn was a great outlet for us. He kept the ball at the top end of the pitch, which allowed us to build attacks. Alfie and Tristan as fullbacks have been really outlet for us this year in terms of creativity. And if you take Femi and you take those two, they've been our most creative players in terms of goals and assists and all that sort of stuff. And the fact that I was missing both of them for their positions was why I went with Barry in the middle. A little bit more creativity in the midfield to tighten it up in the sides and then go with the big 2 lads up top. I wanted to take some of the lads off earlier. The problem I had was you could see we couldn't keep the ball down at the top end of the pitch. So as soon as I took Josh and Femi off, Matt Clark just went bump and headed the ball about 60 yards every time, and meant we were defending the box for the last 5 minutes. So the earlier I did that, I knew it was going to be a problem, and I tried to delay it, but I also needed to try and protect some of the players because I don't want them to get injured. And that was a real tough balancing act. And I knew with every player I was putting on, we were getting smaller and smaller. But we did what we needed to do. For 60 minutes we were comfortably the better side. Carlton must have made a difference for them because I thought he was a unit and he keeps the ball up there. And then they pulled Adgeman off to the side onto Dan, which is a tough gig. And Tristan Clement, he's been riding a booking now for 4 matches, and I've been on to him every day. Do not get booked, particularly with the situation we find ourselves in with some of the injuries we've got. So for him to come through that has been brilliant in terms of discipline and making sure he doesn't let us down, and he can stay in the game for us and stay in the games that are coming up. Millwall were noticeably more physically dominant against Derby than they had been in their 3-1 win against Hull 3 days earlier, controlling the opening 2/3 of the game. Alex Neil was asked if he was pleased with how his side imposed themselves. At the weekend, if you look at the numbers, we were really short in terms of duels. It's not the be-all and end-all, but I think the data's got its place, and we lost 60%, which for us is unacceptable, hence the reason why I was annoyed. And I didn't know that number when I was talking to you after the game, but I wasn't surprised when I saw it back, because that's how I saw the game. But tonight we were aggressive and we were really dominant, and our two centre-backs dealt with the striker in the first half, no problem. And Carlton Morris fought his corner when he came on, and it makes it difficult, when you're a midfield player, because when you're locked on and your ball's sticking there, as soon as you turn around, you lose your man and they'll set you off, and then they're breaking on us. And I thought we had that in the first half. They didn't have that platform. Then it sort of changed in the second half, and it made the game far more to and fro, if you like. Yeah, certainly. Absolutely everything he said. Yes. Now, moving on to this. Also, post-match comments from Alex Neil from southwarknews.co.uk. Millwall boss after Derby County win. There's so much to like about this team. Indeed. Alex Neil believes there is so much to like about Millwall after his side's 1-0 win over Derby County made it 6 wins in 7 championship games. The Lions were deservedly ahead at half-time courtesy of Josh Coburn's flicked finish, then held on during a late round search with Patrick Adgeman hitting the post in added time. Whenever you're holding on to a 1-goal lead, it's always relief when you win. If you look at the game in its entirety, though, I thought for the 60 minutes we were better. We didn't create as many clear-cut chances as we like across the game, if I'm honest. But we were well worth our first score, and we've got a great habit of when we score first, we don't lose. The result means Mill have already exceeded last season's points total, 66, with 9 games left in the season. Is it 9? And are well poised to make the championship playoffs for the first time in over 20 years. Well, yeah, we're 14 points clear. Well, yep, that's what they say now. They are 14 points clear of 7th place Derby, although Southampton are just a point behind the Rams and have 2 games in hand. That's our 15th clean sheet of the season. We've already eclipsed our points total from last year, which is incredible considering we finished 1 game outside the playoffs. I just think there's so much to like about this team. They've done remarkably well. We're not going to play brilliantly every week, and there's going to be games where we need to dig in and see it through. And we did that tonight. And don't get me wrong, we rode our luck at times, and I accept that. But you always need a bit of fortune if you're going to achieve anything. Exactly. And what did I say? Fortune favours the brave. Scotland the brave. Now, moving on to this. This is from bbc.co.uk. The next 3 stories are from bbc.co.uk. Dreaming is free for Millwall after 3 huge points. Well, this was written this came up in the morning or in the afternoon. This is from Nick Hart of Acton Millwall. And he wrote this piece for the BBC. Well, Lady Luck certainly smiled on the Lions on Tuesday night in a tense 1-0 winner over a physically strong Derby County side. That is 3 huge points now, putting Mill just 1 away from the automatic promotion slot. Blimey, it was not plain sailing at the Den though. It has not been often that Mill's defence has been so pushed around this season. More often it has been the other way round, and those 15 clean sheets across the campaign so far have been justifiably earned. But the Rams will rue a series of missed chances as the game stretched into the last few minutes, which culminated in them hitting the post during added time. An edgy close run thing then, but overall the Lions were good value for their 4th successive win. If Millwall had taken more of the opportunities they created in the first half, then that frantic finale would have been a little easier on the nerves. So, can we make an outsider tilt in that second spot currently occupied by Middlesbrough? We will need Borough to drop some points before Millwall visit on Good Friday. But as Blondie once sang, dreaming is free. Well, dear listener, viewer, dream on, because look at this. Look at this. The South London specials. Charlton Athletic. They went up to the Riverside Stadium tonight on Wednesday, the 11th of March, 2026, and they beat them 1-0. Middlesbrough have dropped 3 points. They dropped 3 points. Dream on. Can you believe it? Well, you should, because it's real. It's happening. Would you look at this? This is the table. Middlesbrough in second place. They've played 37 games and they have 69 points. Nice. Millwall in third. 37 games played. They have 68 points. We are 1 point behind them. 2 points technically because of the massive gulf in goal difference. There is a 12-point difference in goal difference between Middlesbrough and Millwall. Ipswich Town are in fourth. They've got a game in hand because they've only played 36 games and they're on 65 points. So they can't, with their game in hand, catch up to Middlesbrough. They can catch up to us. They will overtake us on goal difference if they win that game in hand. But we have to play Ipswich Town and we have to play Middlesbrough. And you then come to the conclusion that the fate of the team is in the players' own hands. They can go to Ipswich. They can win that game. They can go to Middlesbrough. They can win that game. And then they will be the ones who are in second place. They will be the ones that will get promoted to the Premier League and get the adulation of the crowd. So dream on. Until, obviously, the dreams get shattered. Dream on. But, this is it. There were other scores while we're here. Southampton dropped points as well. Obviously, we're technically in the playoffs, but mathematically we're not. But we're 14 points ahead. So they dropped points today. These are the results from today's games. Birmingham City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Middlesbrough 0, Charlton Athletic 1. Norwich City 2, Sheffield United 1. Oxford United 1, Blackburn Rovers 0. West Bromwich Albion 1, Southampton 1. And Coventry City 3, Preston North End 0. So that's from today's games. So what does that do now? The Southampton move up to, even though they got point, they move up and we're still 14 points ahead. Although, again, they have a game in hand. So if they win that, it's 11 points. So we're 14 points above the drop zone of dropping out of the playoffs. So, yeah, I think we are dreaming on. We are dreaming about finishing second because Middlesbrough just lost at home to Charlton. And not to be rude, but if they can lose at home to Charlton, they can lose at home to anyone. And we are playing them on Good Friday at home. So if Charlton can beat them, we can certainly beat them. Absolutely. Now, Ipswich's games in hand. We need to talk about that. They have finally today, they've set them up. They put them on dates. They've got dates for them, both of them. So these are the Championship fixtures for April. So we'll scroll down because they've done something very naughty, have Ipswich. They've done something very, very naughty. And they have waited until the very last minute to put one of their games in hand, which gives them an advantage to some extent, because obviously if it is still going so we play our second last game against Leicester away on Saturday the 25th, but it's going to be Ipswich's third last game, and they're playing West Brom away. They play their second to last game, the penultimate game, on Tuesday the 28th of April. So it gives them an advantage, because they will know by this time there's going to be only one game left. They know what they have to do. Depending on what Millwall and Middlesbrough do, obviously it's away. This is like, a month and a half into the future. But we've only got 9 games to go. By this time, what do we need to do against Southampton to finish second? Do we need to win? Do we need to draw? Can we afford to lose it? They're going to know. And they put the game right at the end. Between everyone else's penultimate game and the last game of the season. That's where they put it. So, again, that's a bit cheeky. But when do they play? So that game has been postponed because of the FA Cup, which was, I think it's postponed from... Is it from Good Friday? It might be Easter Monday. Good Friday. No, you're one of them. They don't have a game because I told you about it before. If you've been watching it, the channel, you'll know. But if you haven't, the FA Cup quarter-finals are taking place on Easter weekend, which means that the championship teams that made it through have to postpone 2 games. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So they've already moved the game. So Southampton Ipswich was supposed to be taking place here, and they've moved it to another day. So they're playing Birmingham on Easter Monday. And they got Swansea City away. Middlesbrough got Swansea City away. We've got Norwich at home Easter Monday, and obviously Middlesbrough away. So Ipswich don't play on Friday the 3rd. They don't play on Good Friday. So it's let's say it's a 3-team battle for that second place. Us two, Millwall and Middlesbrough, we go at it on Good Friday. Ipswich ain't playing, and then they know what they have to do in that game in hand, which is on the 28th. But they also have another game in hand, which is the one they've got now, and that is going to be played here, Tuesday the 14th. So this is, another game in hand. At the moment they've got one, but they're going to miss the Good Friday game. That's going to give them another one. So then they're going to have 2 games in hand, which one of them will drop. It's this one here, Tuesday the 14th of April. So they play an extra game. And who are they playing before that? They're playing a derby game, Norwich. That's going to be a bit tough. Norwich away. That'll be a hell of a atmosphere for them. And then after that, they're playing... Oof. Look at that. They're playing at home to Middlesbrough. So, there you go. Isn't that interesting? So all eyes on that game, obviously. This could be moved. The TV for selections this weekend have not been moved yet. I'm almost certain, I think the QPR game will be moved. They always move the QPR game, whether it's home or away, they always move it. So this game will almost likely be a 12:30 kickoff, and we will find that out, I guess, next week. They do it a month in advance. So what are we on now? We're on the 11th. The West Brom game, I can't see them moving that. So this isn't for TV, this has already been moved. They still have to make selections for Saturday the 11th. You imagine they will pick 2 more games. I think that's just 12:30 on police advice. Probably Birmingham Wrexham. That's a playoff battle. Who else? I don't know. I don't think they'll move our West Brom game away. I don't see what value there is in that. Maybe Sheffield United Hull, a bit of a Yorkshire derby. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see who they select this week, and see how that goes. But yeah, bit cheeky of Ipswich to put one of their games in hand in the final week of the season, but where else can it be played? Where else can it be played? And this is going to be, I don't think they could have moved it. There is another week where they could have put it, which was between the 11th and the 8th. No, yeah. So here, the same date as this game. But there is a possibility, albeit slim, because Southampton are at home to Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. If Southampton actually win that game, which is probably, they've got like a 2% chance. They don't have to score against Arsenal. It could be 0-0 and then they take it to extra time 0-0 and then it goes to penalties. So they don't have to beat Arsenal to win the game. They could get lucky on penalties, but if they do that, then Southampton have to have another game postponed and move to midweek. So maybe they've kept this for that game just in case. And obviously that's why the Ipswich have put their game there, this game here, because if Southampton go through against Arsenal, they're going to have a postponed game here, so they can't play Ipswich there. But very cheeky of them. That, they play one of their games in hand right at the end of the season after everybody played all of their games and only have one game left. So hopefully that will backfire on them. Now, moving back to direct Millwall news. Millwall Football Club submits annual reports. What annual report? The financial report. This is from millwallfc.co.uk. Millwall Holdings Limited, which is one of the three companies that you would say, what is Millwall Football Club? There are three companies involved in Millwall Football Club. There's Millwall Holdings Limited, which is the overall arching parent company. Then there are the subsidiaries of Millwall Properties Limited and Millwall Football and Athletic Club Limited. So Millwall Holdings Limited, basically, that includes all of them, made a pre-tax loss of 0.3 million, so £300,000, for the 12 months ending 30th of June 2025. So this is for last year, not even this year. So they're working on the figures for this year, but obviously that's going to get worse because the failing Labour government, made the national insurance and all that increase, the costs increase, all that stuff. So we'll find that out next March, after they start adding it up in June, and then they get the auditors in and to confirm it. Then they'll release it next March. But this is for 1st of July 24 to the 30th of June 25. This represents a reduction of 18.8 million compared to the pre-tax loss of 19.1 million in the year ending 30th of June 2024. So in 2024, they lost 19 million. 2025, they lost 0.3 million. And that's purely down to player sales. This was the sale of SA and the finalisation of the sale of Fleming. So total revenue increased by 2.5 million versus the previous season. So the revenue has increased. Of this increase, 1.9 million was due to the increased league income, which is predominantly but not solely due to the new EFL broadcasting rights deal with Sky Sports. This deal had a direct impact on streaming income falling, but despite this commercial something increased. I think there's supposed to be a different word where it says increased by 0.5 million versus the previous year. Total matchday income fell slightly from 7.4 million in 2024 to 7.3 million in 2025 as a result of a slight reduction in total matchday attendances for the season, largely driven by lower season ticket sales in advance of the 24-25 season commencing. That's the thing with a TV deal. Obviously, it does affect attendances, because all of the midweek games are on TV, and you see the World Cup is probably a lot lower than it was. Obviously, it was better last night. There were more people there last night because now the games matter. Because now we are dreaming of finishing second place. We are dreaming of getting to the Premier League. So people want to be there for that. From a player trading perspective, the club generated a £21.6 million profit on disposal of intangible assets. Is that what they call the players? Intangible assets? During the financial year. And before that, it was a loss of £0.4 million. And from the reinvestment of these proceeds into the playing squad, the total amortization charge for the year increased by £2 million from £3.4 million to £5.4 million in 2025. During the year, the club purchased a freehold to the Calmont Road training ground, as well as investing in new pitches at the training ground, additional training facilities and stadium improvements at the Den, including the new hospitality and office spaces in the Barry Kitchener stand. The financial results reflect the £7.4 million total investment into facilities. Fucking hell. £7.4 million. So how much was Calmont Road training ground? So they're saying facilities. How much do you think it cost to improve the hospitality? Probably £1 million minimum, no? You would imagine. There was a lot of work going on. Probably more than that, actually. Didn't they actually tell us? I think they did tell us at the time, though. Didn't they say something like 7-figure investment in the... Maybe they didn't give us the exact figure, but it was a lot. So you imagine Calmont Road, BR1, although obviously it's green space, but there is green space next to it in Beckenham Palace Park, whatever it's called. Which they will never build on Beckenham Palace Park, but they could build on Calmont Road. If the club... you would think, because there is pressure on councils to have targets they have to meet, housing, affordable housing, all of that shit, even though there are houses on sale that aren't selling, let's build more houses. That makes a lot of sense, does it not? So, how much did they spend on Calmont Road? Probably, 3 million? 4 million? Damn. Total staff costs increased by £3 million compared to the 24-25 season. This increase arose due to investment in the playing squad during both the summer 2024 and the January 2025 transfer window, as well as the first 3 months of higher employer national insurance contributions introduced by the government in April 2025. So that's only 3 months of that. However, operating expenses were fairly static, with a £0.2 million increase over the previous year. Commenting on the results, the club's chief financial officer Emma Parker noted, we've seen a stronger underlying performance in our financial results for the 24-25 season and have been able to reinvest the funds from the sale of Zion Fleming and Romain Esse into the squad. Cost control is a key element of our ongoing sustainability, and outside of the playing cost investment, we have been able to keep the cost base relatively stable. With the introduction of salary cost management likely for the 26-27 season, it is more vital than ever for us to keep growing the business, but in a sustainable way to allow for ongoing investment and development of our playing squad. What? With the introduction of salary cost management, is that a salary cap? Are they bringing in a salary cap? I thought they were going to do it for League 1 and League 2, but then, they decided not to do that. Are they going to bring that in? It says likely. You would imagine that they must know if they're going to bring it in pretty late notice. I mean, it's kind of disrespectful to do that at late notice for teams, and to the players as well. You're going to get players just bounced out for no reason because clubs have to fall within the salary cost management. So I don't think the PFA will like that one bit. Maybe the players go on strike. How about that? That would be fun. We get to the Premier League and the players decide to strike because of salary cost management. Mill's managing director Mark Fairbrother also noted, The 24-25 season represented one of real change at the football club, with record level of playing squad and infrastructure investment in line with our long-term plan. The catalyst for this change was helped through the sale of Zion and Romain, and allowed for the reinvestment of those proceeds to drive the club forward on all fronts. These results would not be possible but for the hard work and dedication of our staff, who work tirelessly to help drive the club forward and are all working together for us to be able to achieve our longer term aims. So there you go. The sale of Zion and Romain financed the new hospitality section and the purchase of Calmont Road. Wow, so the sale of Femi Aziz is going to pay for West Kingsdown. How about that? The Femi Aziz training ground in West Kingsdown. During the year, the chairman reinvested a further 15.7 million into the club, and the support of the Burrison family, along with their passion and drive, is invaluable to the club, and we remain extremely appreciative of this support and commitment. Hear, 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 hear. Looking ahead to the 25-26 season, we have seen record season ticket sales, with average attendances to date at the highest level since we have been at the Den. 11 sellouts. This, along with the investment into the hospitality offering, will help to continue the drive of our revenue. Although we have had challenges, our robust and proactive approach has helped to mitigate the impact of these, and we will continue to pursue the best result for the club using every potential lever available. This is one of the key pillars of the club's ongoing long-term plan to drive success through growth of the business and facility improvements, along with our player trading and reinvestment model and real estate development. Do not forget the discussions about the deal, about the land around the Den between Lewisham and Millwall is still ongoing. We have secured the 999-year lease, but we need to discuss the plans, and that's still going on, so that's happening in the background. That's very secretive. We don't know anything about that, so when that gets announced, wow, will it get announced soon? Who knows? When we look back in 12 months' time, I am confident we will see a strong continuation of this. So key points from Millwall Holdings Limited: total revenue is 23.9, and last year it was 21.4. Staff cost 28.6, last year it was 25.6. Other expenses 10.2, last year it was 10. Group net assets 17.6, last year was 1.7. Issue of share capital 15.7, last year it was 19.4. Which I thought they stopped doing that, because I thought they consolidated it. Because basically the Berelsons, or through their various company, they own like 98% of the club now. Other people do own parts of the club, but I think they own like 98%. So obviously when John Berelson, they would give a loan to Millwall, that loan would then be paid back by converting it into shares, which then would go back to John Berelson, and that's eventually led to them owning like 98% of the club. Obviously, there's not much point in doing that anymore, because you own 98%. You can't get much more than that. It's not going to add much to it. So what they've been doing now is they've been giving them a 20 million loan, which then has to be paid back. And we'll get into that in a minute. Do they link to it? They don't link to it, but okay. Before we're going to get to it at the end. Right, so Millwall nominated for 2 Football Business Awards. Well, I mean, you've just seen. And you think they lost £300,000. That's good for a football team. That's good. A lot of them lose a lot more than that. And they're being held afloat by cup runs here, cup runs there, player sales here, player sales there. And just the owner's, largesse. But, This is good business. And Millwall have been nominated for Business Awards. Millwall Football Club has been nominated in 2 categories at the 2026 Football Business Awards. Launched in 2012, the Football Business Awards celebrate the very best in football business and attract 500 attendees to the ceremony every year. This year, the Lions are up for trophies in the Best Football Club Stadium Experience and Best Fan Engagement by a Club, Premier League and Championship Clubs categories. The winners will be announced at the FBAs on Friday the 15th of May. And you can check out the Football Business Awards at footballbusinessawards.com. So there you go. Now, obviously, the Fans Forum is taking place tomorrow. And the date was selected presumably because the results have been released. That was part of it, I assume. So, just a reminder, the Fans Forum takes place tomorrow, Thursday the 12th of March. It takes place in Harry's Bar between 6 and 8 p.m. You can get in from 5:30 p.m. and you can use the bar to buy a drink. You will see Alex Neil, Steve Gallen, Mark Fairbrother, and then you will see Stuart Hill, Steve Turner, Philip Reynolds, and Max McClellan. So there you go. Now, it's free to attend, by the way. Now, the rest of the video is going to be me talking about stats. Stats of the financial and stats of the football game yesterday. So, if you want to find out about Millwall's results, you can go to Company's House, or it's not the website. They have a website that's really long and you would not type in. If you go to your search engine and type Company's House, go to that, or just Company's House and Millwall Holdings Limited, it should probably come up. But the actual website is called find-and-update.company-information.service.gov.uk. Government efficiency, isn't it fantastic? Wow. So yeah, Millwall Holdings Limited. You go to filing history, group of companies accounts. So group of companies, because it is Millwall Holdings is, as mentioned, it's the Trinity. It's Millwall Holdings, it's Millwall Properties Limited, and it's Millwall Football Club and Millwall Football and Athletic Club. 3 different companies, and they all published today. Millwall Properties have done nothing over the last year. Nothing has happened. It's a dormant company, but it exists solely to develop the property. Obviously, I presume it's to keep it away from the football club, to stop if any bad things happen. Obviously, you can then dissolve Millwall Properties Limited. That can go bust, and Millwall Football Club doesn't affect that in any way. It also keeps it separate in case you get someone who comes in and they want to buy this or buy that. They can buy into the project, but not buy Millwall Football Club to some extent, if you understand. So you can get a property developer come in, and they have nothing to do with Millwall Football Club. They just buy Millwall Properties Limited, and they're investing in all of the shit around, the hotel, whatever they're building around the ground. But you go to this, and you can view it as a PDF, which will bring up this. And here we go. So it's 41 pages long. It's, here we go. So we'll just have a quick, basically, there's numbers, and I don't really know what the numbers mean, but we have a report. We have words. So, is it too zoomed in? There you go. So we got the strategic report, we got the director's report, we got a statement that they have to make, the auditor's report, and then numbers and stuff. So let's have a look at this. Right. The directors present the strategic report for the year ended 30th of June 2025. The review of the business. The 24-25 campaign marked Mill's 8th consecutive season in the Sky Bet Championship, the second tier of English football. The start of the season was overshadowed by the tragic and unexpected passing of first-team goalkeeper Matija Sarkic, who died at the age of 26 on June 15th, 2025. Formerly known as Matty by friends, family and colleagues, Matija made 33 appearances for the club after joining from Wolverhampton Wanderers in August 2023. A proud Montenegro international, he represented his country with distinction on several occasions. In his memory, the club retired his number 20 shirt, unveiled a mural at the Den, funded by Millwall Football Club, and introduced a new annual honour, the Matija Sarkic Award for Save of the Season. Matija is deeply missed by everyone connected with the club. Indeed, rest in peace, Matija. The 24-25 season was a transitional period both on and off the pitch. The Lions narrowly missed out on a playoff position, finishing 8th in the Championship with 66 points, a 5-point improvement on the previous season. The team averaged 1.44 points per game, recording 18 wins, 12 draws and 16 defeats. There were notable changes to the club's senior management structure ahead of pre-season. Mark Fairbrother returned as managing director, while Steve Gallen joined as director of football. After returning to Millwall in February 2024, Neil Harris departed by mutual consent in December 2024, ending his second spell in charge as manager. Long-serving coach Adam Barrett also concluded his 7-year tenure to pursue new opportunities. In the interim, David Livermore took temporary charge for the appointment of Alex Neil as head coach. The Scotsman led his first game on New Year's Day against Oxford United, joined by Martin Cannon as assistant head coach. The team's performance improved notably in the second half of the season, with the average points per game rising from 1.26 to 1.6. Across the campaign, 37 players featured for the first team, with an average squad age of 24.1. The summer transfer window saw 8 permanent and 3 loan signings, including Lucas Jensen, Liam Roberts, Jafet Tanganga, Sean Hutchinson, Femi Aziz, Daniel Kelly, Mihailo Ivanovic, Macaulay Langstaff and loanees Callum Scanlon, Ryan Wintle and Josh Coburn. In January, the squad was further strengthened with 7 permanent additions and 1 loan arrival: Tristan Crammer, Luke Cundall, Aaron Connolly, Camille Negley, Zach Lovelace, Benicio Baker, AJ Matthews and loanee Zach Sturge. Summer signings: Mihailo Ivanovic finished as the club's top scorer with 13 goals in all competitions. It was another memorable year for the Millwall Academy. Reece Bangor-Williams made his first team debut under Alex Neil in the FA Cup third round against Dagenham and Redbridge, marking the occasion with a goal. The 19-year-old went on to make 13 senior appearances during the season. That same fixture also saw 16-year-old Jordan Kendall make his first team debut, a proud moment for the club's youth development pathway. In January 2025, Academy graduate Romain Esse completed a club record transfer to Crystal Palace. Having joined Mill at the age of 9, Romain progressed through every academy level before debuting at 17 in a 2-0 Boxing Day win at Watford in 2022. He made 66 senior appearances for the Lions and represented England at multiple youth levels. The club is required to comply with the EFL's profit and sustainability rules, which, in overview, permit clubs to incur losses up to 39 million over a 3-year period before any restrictions on spending are applied, providing that losses in excess of 5 million per year are funded through equity. Okay, so it's not as clear cut as just losing the money. In the season under review, the club will once again well within these financial limits, and the board remains totally committed to complete compliance with the rules to ensure the sustainability and health of the club for the benefit of stakeholders. Well, that's nice, isn't it? That's nice to hear. Continued. Competitive imbalances within the Championship continue to grow each season as the financial strength of the Premier League, the division above, increases year on year. Clubs relegated from the Premier League into the Championship arrive with parachute payments, which serve to distort on-pitch competition, player salaries, the recruitment market, and more. I think it's turning into a bit of a poison chalice, to be fair. The last 2 seasons we've seen. See, Luton went down and down, and other teams have struggled with being at the bottom of the table. Obviously, they turned it around. They have turned it around. But if you ain't clued in and you ain't managed properly, you can have as much money as you want. It doesn't mean you won't get relegated. It does not mean that at all. And it doesn't mean you'll get an advantage and you will just steamroll teams, because this is not the same. The Championship is not the same as the Premier League, and you can't just port players from that to this. It's not the same. Discussions around an independent regulator continues, and the club welcomes the reintroduction of the Football Governance Bill. Yeah, well, that's been concluded, and that is not a good thing at all. That is communism in football. That will kill football. As you see, they're trying to bring in a salary cap, which that's basically the maximum wage is what they had before in the 50s when Jimmy Hill fought to overturn that. And they don't want these players earning money, but there is money being generated. So who gets the money? The players, the workers should get the money that's being they basically, that's literally, they own the means of production via the market value of the players. That's it. They're getting the money that they should get because the competition makes so much money, and they're the ones who perform and they make the money. They are the workers for the clubs that make the money, and they're getting the money. They're the talent. That's how it works. But they want to restrict that, and then they want the bizarre thing. They want women's football to make the same amount of money as men's. So they literally want the women's football to be paid thousands and thousands of pounds per week, as the men earn at the moment, which is just insane. But that's what they want. That's what they're going to do. Key now will be understanding of the approach and application of the independent football regulator to ensure that their remit covers key sporting challenges around a redistribution of income. Redistribution, that's communism. From the Premier League to the EFL, providing it comes with enhanced regulation to help improve the sustainability of clubs. A review of the group's financing, property development and regeneration activities is provided later in this report. So here we go. They're going to talk about the results now. The consolidated statement of comprehensive income is set out on page 11. Revenue for the year is an increase of 11%. Matchday revenue, commercial revenue has seen a 13% increase, while central income, mainly from EFL Basic Award and Premier League Solidarity, has a 20% increase year on year. Average league attendances for the year were 15,497 compared to the average of 16,544, representing a year-on-year decrease of 6%, largely driven by lower season ticket sales. And this is what the movement of games. You're moving the games, and 6%. If you're spending all that money and you're missing the game, so a lot of fans, well, not a lot, 6%, but what have they done? They've turned into armchair fans because they can watch the games on TV. They buy a VPN, they can buy a match pass with Millwall, so they can do it. Legally, you don't have to use an illegal stream. You can use a VPN and pretend not to be in the country, and you can buy a match pass with Millwall. You can give Millwall £10 each time, and you can watch the game at home. It's not illegal. It's not an illegal stream. So you can do that. I think it's just about broadcasting it, isn't it? It's like, technically, it's like this thing with prostitution. Prostitution is not illegal. You can be a prostitute. Soliciting is legal, as in asking someone to give you money in return for sex. That is illegal. But being a prostitute is not legal. It's a technicality. So yeah, I think it's just you can't broadcast games in the blackout, but you can watch games using a VPN. Like, that's not in the law. What are we talking about? Okay. Total staff costs, 12% increase over the previous year. Yada yada yada. Football management team this is the thing, they had to obviously change managers. They had to do that. And they did get Neil Harris out of, was it Cambridge? And all of that. And then, then they sacked him. So, even though he's a club legend, I imagine they had to pay him something for that. Other admin expenses have increased 1% year on year. The group achieved a record high profit on player trading. So we don't find out. They basically bundle it all together. We don't know how much, because obviously undisclosed. But so basically the sale of Romain S. So they're saying here, it says namely set. So there are other. Did we sell anyone else? I think we sold a. Did we sell a youngster? Who did we sell? I think we did sell. There were. No, Alex Mitchell. Was that Alex Mitchell? I think we did sell him. Or we would have got a tribunal fee. So we don't know, but totally £21.6 million profit. And the rumours were SA was it 14 million? And Zion was 7 million. So that would be 21 million. So there or thereabouts. Net finance costs for the year were 1.5 million. During the year, Chestnut Hill Ventures, the majority shareholder, so that's the Berylson company that has the most shares of Mill Holdings. The majority shareholder of the company and principal provider of funding facilities, along with the company's other loan note holders, agreed that the interest-free period on their loan notes of 10.5 million would be further extended from the 1st of July 2025 to 30th of June 2026, when interest will begin to accrue again unless CV agrees otherwise. So again, this is what I was talking about. They used to, CHV, they used to just convert their loan to shares. But now they already own most of the shares. There's no point in doing that. So now, basically, the club makes money. CHV loans money to the club. The club makes money. They pay that back, and then CHV just then loans them money again. So it's just a loan, pay back, loan, pay back, loan, pay back. Loan repayments have also been extended by 1 year to the 1st of July 2027. At the 30th of June 2025, the group had net assets of 17.6 million. So what are the assets? I think that is that intangible assets? Is that the players? The directors do not recommend payment of a dividend. Yes, well, indeed. The club would like to thank all commercial partners at all levels for their invaluable support through 24-25 and helping drive a 13% growth in commercial revenues overall from 24-25. This is another thing. Is the Maguava thing on this accounts on next, or the accounts that will come out next year? Because if they would have paid us, would we have made more money? Would we have broken even? Would we have made a small profit? It was only 300k. But yeah, let's get into it. The club's second season with Fanatics as a retail partner saw a continued growth in turnover and profitability, with total year sales growing 13% year on year and eating forecasted revenues for the year 3 of partnership a year early. In part, this was driven by a sustained effort to launch all 3 kits for the upcoming campaign as early as possible in the summer, alongside technical partner Aria. And obviously the kits were decent. Wasn't the year of the green kit, was it? I don't know. I'm forgetting which is which, but it's kind of hard to keep track. The club also signed a new long-term front and shirt sponsorship with digital board payments partner MyGuava, alongside a number of new official partnerships with SpreadX, Carabao Sport, QuinBet, Maxamaze and NordVPN all coming on board. Renewed and enhanced agreements with existing club partners. Shepherd Neame match worn shirt were also negotiated. The Shepherd Neame agreement in particular allowed for the creation of the Spitfire Bar, a totally new pub-style bar for general admission fans in what was previously a dilapidated secondary matchday retail unit. Hey. Continued. Mill's international audience grew once again year on year, with direct sales supported by renewed relationships with ticket resale partners P1 Travel, Travel Connection, Go Sport Travel and XS2, with over 5,500 unique overseas supporters visiting the den. So there you go, the tourists. So these are just the ones, official ones, that presumably have bought through these travel companies, 5,500 unique people. Obviously some of them would have come maybe once or twice. Mill's international audience grew once again year on year. Yeah, you've just told us that. With direct sales, yeah, you've literally just done the same thing twice. Okay. Attendees came from a total of 75 countries. Are they going to list the countries across the season? 7 more than in 23-24. With visitors coming from destinations as varied as Guatemala, Malaysia, Martinique, Bosnia and Herzegovina for the first time. German Lions continue to make up the highest proportion of the international audience, representing 13% of total international match attendees, while Italian visitors climbed to second place, growing from 8% to 12.5% in the total year on year. That's interesting, because I thought they were just here for Vogelslammer, but apparently, maybe we should can we sign a German? Steve Gallen, can we get a German in? Reward the fans with a German? Are there any good Germans available? The company continues to be funded by its principal shareholder, Cheshunt Hill Ventures, and by its directors. The existing facility is £20 million, with 10 million outstanding at the year end. So basically, at the start of the year, Cheshunt Hill Ventures said, "Here's a bank account with 20 million in. Do what you do. Do what you're gonna do." So they only spent 10 million of it because there was 10 million left. Additional funding requirements during the year have been met by CHV and certain directors subscribing for new ordinary shares. So they sold more shares. During the year, 1,570 ordinary shares were issued for cash, raising 15.7 million of funds for the company. Okay. The CHV facility and the £525,000 2013 unsecured loan notes held by directors and their associates were repayable on the 1st of July 2025. CHV and the loan note holders had agreed that no interest would accrue in respect of the CHV facility and loan notes until the 30th of June 2025 by an agreement dated the 30th of June 2025. CHV extended the suspension of interest until the 1st of July. The other loan notes holders have agreed that no interest will accrue on the loan notes until the date on which the company and CHV agree that interest will begin to accrue again in respect to the CHV facility. The repayment date of the CHV facility and other loan notes was also extended to the 1st of July 2027. So again, interest-free loans, which you would imagine you're then losing money, because if you just put money in a bank account that has no interest on it, the inflation rate alone, not that the interest doesn't even, if you do get interest in it, that's not going to cover the inflation rate. So you're losing money just by giving someone an interest-free loan. The directors are of the view that, together with the further arrangements referred to, ongoing equity investment and extended loan facilities from CHV and the directors provides the company with sufficient access to working capital to fund the operations of the company over the next few years, which is why they've extended it to the 1st of July 2027. So there you go. Now, here we go. Okay, here we go. Regeneration. As reported in the previous year, the club's improved relations with Lewisham Council and renewal, the property developer for the adjacent site, continued during the year with further progressive talks held with the Mayor Damien Egan and his replacement Brenda Dackers, as well as the senior planning officers from Lewisham. In May 2024, the club and Lewisham Council agreed the key terms of a 999-year lease for the land surrounding the den, which will give the club development rights as part of plans designed to benefit the club, its supporters, the council itself, as well as the local community generally. At the time of writing, the full lease agreement is being finalised and is expected to be signed in late 2025. Well, it's late because we're in 2026 and we're still waiting. What's happening there then? So this report was written in March 25 or June 25. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. The club expresses gratitude to the council and its senior officers for their approach to these discussions. Training ground. So here we go. Training ground. As reported in previous years, in October 2022, Sevenoaks Council's Planning Committee formally approved the club's plans for a new training ground on a 100-acre site in West Kingsdown, Kent. This new location is designed to bring together the first team and academy and their respective support and administration staff, rather than have them operate on separate sites as is currently the case. This brings about varying logistical challenges with a new location would serve to reduce. With the significant increases in cost of building materials and labour, this has impacted on initial project plans and has impacted on the short-term completion goals initially set. To give the club certainty over its training facilities, in January 2025, the club purchased its first team and under-21s training facility at Calmont Road. Since the sale and leaseback of Calmont Road in 2006, annually the club has been suffering a significant financial burden to rent the site and therefore limited options to develop the training ground. With the previous lease due to expire in 2026, the freehold purchase of the site provides short and mid-term certainty of tenure. And now, free of lease terms and potential significant rental increase, the club has the ability to explore its long-term strategic options around both first team and academy training centres at its own pace. During the summer of 2024, a considerable financial commitment was made to improve Calmont Road pitches with new stitching and drainage installed. Subsequent to the year-end, further freehold improvements have been made to upgrade its facilities for players, management and staff, including a new recovery suite, changing rooms, as well as offices and presentation space. Although they are in, they were in basically porter cabins. Fancy porter cabins, but porter cabins nevertheless. Community Trust, which is a separate company, by the way, it's all separate. Millwall Community Trust continues to work proudly across Lewisham and Suffolk, which they have done since 1985, to support the local community. The 24-25 season saw Millwall Community Trust provide 9,500 free meals, etc., etc. This is all in the Community Trust report, which they put out last week. So, just for the sake of time, we'll skip over that. We'll skip over that. Right. Principal risks and uncertainties. In common with many football clubs outside the FA Premier League, the main business risk is the maintenance of a positive cash flow, bearing in mind the uncertainty of turnover and the high cost of maintaining a playing squad on which the success of the group's business is largely dependent. In order to achieve a positive cash flow, there is the constant requirement to raise new finance and refinance existing facilities, which in turn requires the continuous support of existing providers of those facilities. A significant amount of club's revenue derives from ticket sales. Income generated from gate receipts is highly dependent on the level of attendance at matches. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the reliance of all football clubs on matchday revenue, and cost control measures can and have been implemented. These cannot mitigate the lost income seen at present. Some income streams of the club, such as television rights and related income, are dependent on third-party contracts and arrangements to which the club is not a party and over which the club can exercise little or no influence. So again, they've been promised this money, but exactly. Now you imagine Sky Sports, they're a big company, they're not really going to go anywhere soon. But Setanta went bust. So could Sky go bust? You never know. As part of its normal activities, the club deals in the trading of players' registrations, and there is always a risk of significant and lasting injuries to players that may impair player values. This is the thing, if you get a player who gets an injury, but he comes back, but he's still good enough to play, but he's not as good as he was. He was going to go to the Premier League. He was good enough to play there, but he gets injured and now, not so much. Players aged 24 years or older are free to move between clubs once their contract has come to an end, and directors monitor expiry dates carefully with a view to renewing contracts or realising their value, which I think is why we saw a deal done for Alex Mitchell's departure. Relevant business risks are discussed during board meetings so that where a material exposure is identified, mitigating action can be taken. Details of the group's exposure to financial risks and the management procedures in place to mitigate these are set out in Note 16. Post-balance sheet events. So subsequent to the year end, the company had a busy summer transfer window and acquired the permanent registrations of Coburn, Sturge, Crocombe, Coleman, Taylor, Doughty, Luongo and Mazusako, as well as the temporary registrations of Ballo, Bender and Smallbone. In assessing the appropriateness of the going concern assumption, the directive produced detailed cash flow forecasts until 30th of June 2027. The directive continued to undertake a range of measures to ensure the prudent running of the organisation. There was a 20 million facility in place from CHV that was drawn down to 10 million as at the year end. So, year end. So does that mean financial year end or year end? Because if you look down, it says... So this was a statement that was written on the 29th of December 2025. Which does not fall due to repayment until the 1st of July 2027. The directors believe this is in conjunction with the ongoing support, yada yada yada, etc, etc, etc. So there you go. It's all good, apparently. Directors report for the year ended. No dividends are paid. Yep. Supplier payment policy. The group's current policy concerning the payment of trade creditors is to follow the CBI's prompt payers code. The group's current policy concerning the payment of trade creditors is to settle the terms of the payment with suppliers when agreeing the terms of each transaction, ensure that suppliers are made aware of the terms of payment by inclusion of relevant terms in contracts, and pay in accordance with the company's contractual and other legal obligations. Statement of disclosure to the auditor. Okay. Yada yada yada. Yep. Mid-sized companies exemption. Again, dated the 29th of December. Okay. Again, just a generic statement about that they have to give out. The independent auditor's report. So basically, they have to bring someone in to look at the accounts and say, is what they're saying true, or are they talking shite? In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of the group's affairs and of the group's loss for the year then ended. The financial statements have been properly prepared. The financial statements have been prepared in accordance with the requirements of the Companies Act 2006. Material uncertainty in relation to the going concern. So we draw attention to note 1.4 in the financial statements, which indicates that the ability of the group and company to continue as a going concern is dependent on additional funding from the shareholder that is not guaranteed. As stated in note 1.4, these events or conditions indicate that material uncertainty exists that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. Our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. So again, it's a football club. It doesn't make any money. It's reliant on the shareholder to put money in. But obviously, they loan the money. The loan has to be repaid by the 1st of July 2027. And they're saying it's all good. So, it's continued. Extent to which the audit was considered capable of detecting fraud. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks all good to me. And then we got the numbers, so again, it's not really, I don't really not much going on there, but you can see the actual loss was £263,000. So just under £300,000. If we go down, non-current assets, current liabilities, net current liabilities, share capital. So again, the share capital has increased from 110 million to 126 million. These are the changes in equity. Basic equity is shares. So these shares are obviously issued privately amongst themselves or to investors. See, they were looking for outside of investors to come in. Proceeds from the issue of shares, 15.7 million. So there you go. You can see all of that stuff. I mean, you can see it for yourself. If you, like I said, if you go to Company's House, go to Mill Holdings, you can see all of this stuff here. Basically, how they figure it out. Depreciation, IPTA, or whatever they call it. All kinds of things. How they come to the conclusion that they come to. The practices that they use. So this is the revenue, match day revenue, league income, commercial revenue, which has increased, and you would imagine it's going to increase, next year. It seems that the hospitality section has been a huge success. They've spent a lot of money on that, and it seems to have paid dividends, quite literally. The number of employees has increased. Football team management has gone up by 3. Administrative and ground staff has gone up. So we keep seeing that they advertise for people, assistant this, assistant that. So obviously trying to do more. What else have we got? Wages and salaries. Social security costs, pension costs, £274,000 in pension. That's interesting. The interest that they pay on bank overdrafts and loans, £866,000. Interest on convertible loan notes, £541,000, and the interest on lease liabilities, £100,000. Income tax expense. Expected tax credit based on a 25% rate. So, there you go. The amount of the unprovided deferred tax asset is calculated at 38 million. Okay. Impairments. Impairment tests have been carried out where appropriate, and the following impairment losses have been recognised in profit or loss. Intangible assets, which was in administrative expenses. Now, is that the sponsor? Was that the sponsorship money that wasn't paid? £154,000. Don't know. Can we find it in there? I don't know. I don't know about all this stuff. It's not my forte, Jeremy. Oops, we're going sideways, everyone. Prepare to be twisted. There you go. Is this where they're hiding it? Property and plant equipment. Depreciation, it's all there, No, I don't think that's... We're going back, everyone. We're going back. Was that it? No. What's going on? Now we're upside down. What the fuck's going on? Okay, now we're back. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I was talking about. Subsidiaries. So the subsidiaries of Millwall Holdings Limited is Millwall Properties Limited and the Millwall Football and Athletic Company 1985 parentheses Limited. So there you go. Finished goods. £22,000. Is that what the money that they raised from the auction? You know they were auctioning all that stuff? But that was 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Or it was this summer, wasn't it? So I don't know if that's going to turn up. How much they made from the auction. Don't know. What are we on? So, I mean, scrolling down, I have no idea what I'm looking at now. It's gone all foggy. No idea. What does that say? The net proceeds received from the issue of the convertible loan notes have been split between the financial liability element and an equity component representing the fair value of the embedded option to convert the financial liability into equity as follows. The liability component is measured at amortized cost, and the difference between the carrying amount of the liability at the date of issue and the amount reported in the statement of financial position represents the effective interest rate less interest paid to that date. Okay, cool. Trade and other payables, social security and taxation, 2.1 million. Wow. Retirement benefit schemes, defined contribution schemes. The group operates a defined contribution scheme pension for all qualifying employees. The assets of the schemes are held separately from those of the group in an independently administered fund. The lease. Okay. Land and buildings within 1 year, between 2 and 5 years, and over 5 years. Set out below are future cash outflows to which the lessee is potentially exposed that are not reflected in the measurement of lease liabilities. Land and buildings. £400,000. For what? For what? What are we leasing? Is that how much we have to pay Lewisham Council for the lease? So we've got a 999-year lease. We have to pay £400,000 a year. Because we own Calmont Road. We own West Kingsdown. What are we leasing? What's being leased? Is it all of the porter cabins? Damn, man, that's a lot. It's a lot of money for porter cabins if it's that. Pensions. The club currently has one employee who is a member of the scheme and pays total contributions of £60,000. The last time we looked at this, it was old Steve Kavanagh. So one is assuming that this is Mark Fairbrother. So part of his compensation is he gets the pension. Because who else would it be? There's only one employee. So he gets the pension. Do they not have to provide pensions to everyone? The club participates in the Football League Pension and Life Insurance Scheme. The scheme is a funded multi-employer defined benefit scheme with 92. Oh, okay. So they have different schemes for different people. With 92 participating employers. And where members may have periods of service attributable to several participating employers. Ah. So the Football League players have their own pension scheme which can transfer between clubs. Ooh. The club is unable to identify its share of the assets and liabilities of the scheme and therefore accounts for its contributions as if they were paid into a defined contribution scheme. So they have to pay money into that. Okay. Calculate using the actual valuation assumptions. So they play £268,000 into that scheme. Okay. Okay. But here's the thing, though. If at work, if you're enrolled in a pension scheme, they take a certain percentage of your money and put it into the pension scheme, but you have the ability to opt out. So it's literally every other person has opted out because they want the money now. Or so they only have one person who's decided, oh, I'm going to take the pension. That seems unusual. Transfer fees. Okay, are we going to find any information? Under the terms of certain contracts with other football clubs in respect of player transfers, additional amounts will be receivable payable by the company if conditions as to the future team selection are met. The maximum that could be receivable is £710,000. The maximum that could be payable is 5.5 million. These amounts have not been provided for in the financial statements. These amounts do not include various payments or receipts that are determinable only on circumstances which are distant or outside the direct control of the parties to the contract and the players in question. So again, sell on percentage for Remain SA, sell on percentage for Tanganga. You know, if Tanganga plays a certain amount of games, SA plays a certain amount of games. If Crystal Palace win, did we get money from Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup? Did we get money from that? Cash absorbed by group operations, losses, etc., 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 etc. Okay. Been going a while, haven't we? You still awake out there, or have you fallen asleep? We finished. So there you go. So just a reminder, if you want to check it out for yourself, if you know what you're doing, if you are an accountant, I mean, this is like a busman's holiday for you. How do the accounts look? Are they okay? I mean, it's a football club, so I mean, it's probably the most mad business in the world. You know, paying all that money to, lose. To lose money. I imagine, there's many other things that you could do with money and then make money. But there you go. Now, we have been 1 hour and 20 minutes, but this is probably going to be the longest video that I've ever done, because now we're going on to the fucking stats from yesterday's game. So this is going to take another half an hour, 2 hour video. How about that? 2 hours long. You lucky bastards. You should probably, if you play it on 2 times speed, it will only take an hour. Little tip there. And I might actually sound normal. Right. So this is the match report from WhoScored.com. Millwall created a high number of chances relative to their possession, and we were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from set pieces. We were poor at finishing, we lost possession often, and we played with width, which is interesting because apparently we brought Barry Bannon to play through the middle, but we had a large quantity of possession in our opponent's half. We attacked down the right hand side. We had a high shot frequency when in possession. We favoured crossing the ball, and we favoured long balls. Now, this is unusual. Millwall won the game. We won it 1-0. They have given man of the match to Matt Clark, Derby's centre-back. He's the bald guy, I believe. I think that's the baldy who scored the own goal last time. They've given it to him. I think there is a certain bias in WhoScored.com's ratings for defenders. I think because they win aerial duels, because they do tackles, because they do clearances, I think they get a higher score because of that. So, again, I think there is a little thumb on the scale in terms of defenders. But to give the defender of a losing team the highest score is kind of unusual. You don't really see that many times, but I imagine it's because he, won a lot of aerial duels or something, some shit like that. Total shots, Ivanovic with 4, Coburn with 3, Femiziz with 3. Tackles, Derry John Merkin with 5, Ivanovic with 3. What the hell? And dribbles, not much to talk about. Right. Attempts on goal, 15 to 14, 7 to 8 open play, 7 to 5 set piece, 1 and 1 counter attack. Our 1 goal from 15 shots is a 6% conversion rate, which is pretty average for this division. This looks like a game that should have finished 1-1. Probably should have finished 1-1. And it was a miracle that it didn't. And that miracle was named Tristan Kramer. We were mostly going down the right hand side. They were pretty evenly spread out. Shot directions. Shot zones. 13% in the 6-yard box. 53% in the 18-yard box. And only 33% outside the box. Action zones. Player positions. The average player position. You can't see Ivanovic. He's under 67, which is Barry Bann. So, he was playing deeper. And Coburn was the front man. But you can see Derby, very compact. Derby, very compact, very all connected. So, yeah. Moving on to this, whoscored.com. We did get that goal just before half time, which I think is vital, really, because I think if we would have went in 0-0 at half time, I'm not sure how the game would have went. Maybe we would not have won the game if we didn't score that goal before half time. They make one change at half time, and that guy gets a yellow card basically straight away. They get a yellow card. So they're a very physical team. A lot of teams accuse us of being physical, but Derby County were very physical. Probably the most physical team that I've seen in the division this season. Then they're the first ones to make the substitution, so clearly they're not happy. Obviously they're losing, so clearly they're not happy. But they make the change, and I think that change, as Alex Neil mentioned, did kind of put them on the ascendancy, which we managed to stave off, luckily. But we make changes, they make changes, we make even more changes right at the end, all backs to the wall. And, luckily we prevented that goal from going in. Or it was the post, really, but I mean, how has that guy not scored? Agumang, he's a USA international, I think. How's he not scored? He had 2 decent chances to score. Didn't score. But again, of his own doing, wasn't because, Kramer did interfere with him. Luckily didn't get penalised for that. If you look at the club badges, top left, top right, 6.77 average player rating for Mill, 6.52 for Derby. So again, that's pretty close. This again, a 1-1 draw, which is what I predicted before the game. That probably would have been, not unfair to Derby. So, Millwall player that got the highest score, Tristan Kramer. And then we got Cooper 7.5. We got Coburn 7.3. Aziz 7.3. So basically, half the team 7s and half the team mid 6s. If we go down, total shots 15 to 14. Who had the shots? Everyone on Millwall had a shot except for Cooper and Negley. Coburn with 3. Ivanovic with 4. Aziz with 3. Aziz got a clearance off the line. He got the C there. And Tristan Kramer got the assist. And Agumang for them got 4. Possession 50 to 49. So again, the possession's pretty even. 50-50 basically. Although we're just slightly ahead. So that's a game where we had the most possession and we won the game, which is not what we do. That's not what we do, but we did it. And And it's between Cooper and Bannon. Oh, Mitchell. Yeah, Mitchell was on the ball a lot, wasn't he? He was doing a lot of attacking, and I said this yesterday. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. He wasn't bad, but I mean, it's unusual to see him so far forward. But I guess that's what they did. They let Bannon drop back and soak up the ball and spray it around, and Mitchell was given it and told to run forward. But pass success percentage 71 to 73. Coburn 89%, which is no surprise because you got two up front. You're not up front on your own. If you get the ball, you have someone close to you that you can pass to. So there you go. Aziz 64, obviously just whipping balls in. You're kind of playing it into an area hoping someone's going to be there. That reduces the pass accuracy. But, would you have it any other way? Not really. It's up to the players to get onto the end of the balls, isn't it? Dribbles 3 to 5. Aerials 126 to 30. So clearly, Bannon not winning an aerial, which is no surprise. He's like 4'11", isn't he? Ivanovic with 5, Cooper with 8, Matt Clark with 8, Aguiman with 8. Tackles 13 to 18. I would say Crammer against Aguiman. And this is what you get from Crammer in the middle rather than at right back. I think, if you pair up Taylor with Aguiman, I think we could have been in trouble in that game. But you pair up Crammer with Aguiman, and it matches up a lot better. It does match up a lot better. But I think, if you pair up Taylor, even though Taylor is quite tall, he's quite gangly with it, he's very skinny. I don't think he's going to boss him. He's quite young as well. I don't think he's going to boss him. Boss Aguiman and be as rough with him as Crammer was the other day. Tackles 13 to 18. Ivanovic with 3 tackles. Interesting. Corners 6 to 2. These are the players who won the corners. Dispossessed 12 to 7. So having the ball taken off of you, yes, they were a very physical team. And they seemingly, obviously, if we go back to tackles, Merkin with 5, you go to dispossessed, Aziz 4 times. Clearly, Merkin and Aziz matched up in their favour. Merkin, dealt with him very well. In terms of, from their point of view, obviously, not for us. Moving on to this. From WhoScored.com, again, the third instalment. So, player ratings 7.95 Crammer, Cooper, Coburn, Femi Aziz. Number 5, Danny McNamara, number 5, 7.23. Not bad, eh? Not bad. Is he playing for a contract? I think he is playing for a contract, is he not? I think his contract is up at the end of the season, so clearly showing what he's worth there. And as you would expect, the 5 substitutes are the 5 lowest rated players because they have less time on the pitch. So how would they get a high score? Which is how it should be. Negley 6.53. Zaxo 6.49. Bit harsh, but yeah. Okay. So shots, we had, 15? How many are actually on target? 4. So 15 to 4 to 1. Bit below par. Could have done with 2 goals. Would have settled some nerves at the end of the game, almost certainly. But there you go. Offense. How many times? Oh, it's crashed. No, it hasn't. It's come back. Ooh. How many times were we offside in that game? No offsides. First game in a while that we haven't been offside. Defensively, who did what? We know Ivanovic, 72 minutes on the pitch, had the most tackles with 3. Then Danny Mack with 2, Billy Mitchell with 2. Interceptions, Danny Mack with 2. Aziz with 1. Clearances, Kramer with 11. Wow. Cooper with 7. Then Danny Mack with 3. Ivanovic with 2. Mazusako, fucking hell, he's only on the pitch for 5 minutes? 1 tackle, 2 clearances. Hey, have some of that. Block shots, Kramer with 2. In fact, you know what, while we're here, is there one not going to load? So how many shots did they have on target? They only had 1 shot on target. They had 14 shots. They only had 1 shot on target. My goodness. Right, so we are now coming up to 1 hour and 35 minutes. Can you believe it? Right, so let's get on with it. You can see here, ball possession 50-50. Expected goals 1.68 to 1.25. That's a 1-1. That game should have been a 1-1, but it wasn't. Total shots 15 to 14. Shots on target 4 to 1. Big chances 2 to 2. Big chances missed 1 to 2. Accurate passes 241 to 258, which is 71% for them, 73% for us. Fouls committed 7 to 13. Corners 6 to 2. We had 6 corners. Total shots, as mentioned, 15 to 14. Shots off target 7 to 7. Shots on target 4 of 1. Block shots 4 and 6. Hit woodwork 0 and 1. Didn't I hit the woodwork twice? Shots inside the box 10 to 9. Shots outside the box 5 to 5. If you move over to the left, go passes 341 to 354. Accurate passes, as mentioned already, 241 to 258. Passes in the own half 92 to 110. In the opposition half 149 to 148. Accurate long balls 30 to 34, which is the same 42% for both teams. Accurate crosses, which is the same 9 for us, 4 for them, which is 29% for each team. Throw-ins 26 to 18. Touches in the opposition box 24 to 22. Offsides 0 for us, which is, again, that's unusual. 3 for them. So interestingly, when we play 2 up front, we don't play offside. We don't get caught offside. Is that because when we play 1 up front, they told the guy to hang off the final shoulder and just to risk it, because what else have you got to lose, you know? If we go back to the right hand side, where were we? We were down here, weren't we? Defence 13 to 18 tackles, 3 to 10 interceptions, 6 to 3 blocks, 30 to 40 clearances, so they had more defending to do. 0 to 3 keeper saves. Their keeper had to make 3 saves. Our keeper did not make a single save, so they had a shot on target, but it was clearly blocked. It wasn't saved, so the keeper basically had nothing to do all game. The shot on target was the one that Femi had cleared off the line. To be fair, the keeper was going to get to it. You look at it, it's you're kind of lucky that the keeper didn't, dive into Femi. Duels won 54 to 60. Ground duels won 28 to 30, which is 48% to 52%. Aerial duels won 26 to 30, 46 to 54%. Successful dribbles 3 to 5, which is 33% for us and 45% for them. If we go down to those duels, obviously they tell us how many aerial duels were won, but how many were lost? Well, if we sort that. So Jake Cooper won 8, but it was 8 out of 13, so it's only 62%. Ivanovic 5 of 7, which is 71%. Kramer is 3 of 8. So yeah, he had a tough old time against Aguiman. He was up against him, but he was battling all game, and he gave it a go. I mean, he did give it a go, didn't he? Billy Mitchell 2 of 3, 67%. Danny Mack 2 of 6, only 33%. Obviously up against Carlton Morris at the end of the game. Ground duels, however, for the ground duels, Danny Mack 6 of 7, which is 86%. Joshy Coburn 6 of 10, 60%. Ivanovic 4 of 7, 57%. Billy Mitchell 3 of 5, which is 60%. and Cranmer's 2 of 3, which is 67%. Right, goalkeeping. So again, they changed the keeper. They brought on a keeper. The keeper got injured, and the other keeper had nothing to do. And our keeper didn't make a save, as mentioned. He came out for one high claim, acted as a sweeper once. Accurate long balls 7 of 25, which is 28%. Accurate passes 10 of 28, which is 36%. And now we finish by looking at the shot map. So the shot map, here we go. After 5 minutes, as his left footed got blocked. Brereton Diaz, 14 minutes, that got blocked. And again from a throw-in got blocked. Header from a throw-in. Attempt saved. Saved how? I thought you just said... Is this... He didn't make a... The keeper didn't make a save, but they're saying this was saved. What are they talking about? 23 minutes... 24 minutes. I'm just going to scroll through these because I desperately need to piss. This has been going on for 1 hour 40 minutes and I need to go pee. So there's the goal there. Fantastic goal from Josh Coburn. Yeah, and again and again and again and again as we quickly scroll through these as I'm desperate to pee until we get to the end. And there you go. Thank you so much and goodbye.